Welcome to episode 3 of Rebuilding My Brand. Today we're breaking down my first round of testing, and there will be a few things I need to fix. Thank you for being here, and I hope you enjoy. Okay, so it has been a couple weeks since we have poured the candles and wax melts, and we have been doing some testing. Testing is not finished. Let me start off by saying that testing takes a lot of time. And even beyond the fact that I do have things to fix, at least at the moment, I know that with the candles, and actually I have already poured a new candle, and we'll see how that goes. But wax melts, I have not finished figuring out my fragrance load yet. But I do want to go over my findings with the ones that I have tested. I actually have the 20% one thrown in my wax melter right now behind me. So we'll see how that goes. I will start off by saying I might have to go over 20%, and we'll get to why in a minute. But if you also hear talking in the background, my mom and sister are being loud right downstairs. So, let me start off by saying I am an impatient person, so it annoys me that I'm not done with testing and that I'm changing things and all of these stuff. But this is the reality of owning a business, and especially a handmade business, is there's a lot of testing that goes involved. There's a lot of money that goes into it. So at that, let's get into what I found. So the first one that I did try for the wax melts, and just a reminder, we're using the Coco Soul soy wax melt, or soy wax, from Candle Science. This wax can hold up to 25%. And why I'm switching to this wax is because my old wax could only hold 10%, and I felt like it was underperforming. It was not doing as much as I would like. I would prefer to be able to use my wax melt for like 72 straight hours, and I'm still having a decent scent throw. So far, there's only 1 out of 3 of these fragrance loads that was good at that, but still wasn't what I wanted it to be. So that's why I say, if this 20 still is not there yet, I will test a higher fragrance load than 20, because we do have 5 extra percentage to go. But hopefully we don't have to do that I don't have to spend more money on materials, even though I do already have everything in hand. It just kind of, again, I'm impatient. But the first one I tried was a 10% load. The initial cold throw, which was about 10 plus-ish hours in, was decent. It wasn't amazing. And if you're like, what's a cold throw? Don't worry. A cold throw is the solid wax. So like, I have an overpour wax melt here. This, when I go to smell it right now, that's a cold throw. A hot throw is when it's actually burning or melting. That is the difference between cold throw and hot throw, because you will hear me say these words. I probably should have told you that before. Anywho, take a breath, Rachel. Take a breath. These all did sit for quite a bit because I ended up getting sick and I couldn't really smell well, so I didn't want to test anything, obviously, when my sense of smell was not the greatest. But going back to that 10% fragrance load, when the block was half melted, you did smell the scent. It was noticeable. That's the real thing to note, which was normal. It was like that with all of them so far, as when they were about half melted, you started to smell them. It was really strong because I have it that I could smell when I was halfway up the stairs. So I could smell it quite a few feet away. Now, my melter, if I move, is right there, besides the From Blood and Ash books. So it is right at my door. So there is that. But I was impressed with that. But by, let's see, started it at 10, in the 10 o'clock hour. By the 1 o'clock hour, the scent had already dissipated a lot, according to my notes. And then by 4 p.m., I couldn't really smell it. So she's gone. She couldn't even get a good 24 hours. I ended up skipping over my 12% fragrance load. Just because since 10% did not do well, I wanted to see what 15 would do. And I did write down for my initial cold throw thoughts for 12% that it seemed very muted. And I already didn't have high hopes for it. Do you hear them down there? So, I did not test 12%, but I did do 15. I was very hopeful for 15, and actually 15 is what I have the most written down for. So, with my initial cold throw, it was better than 12, but I wrote less than 10. So, I wrote on February 2nd, one of the best cold throws might even be better than 20%. So that was after it's been sitting for a little bit. It has probably been, I didn't write down when I melted these and made them. That was a mistake on my part. But that was probably about a week or so after. So, promising. I then tested this one on February 18th. I almost said 28th. No. So, all of these, I'm only testing a single cube. Normally, I would have 2 cubes in my melter, but I wanted to see what specifically 1 cube would do. Again, black half melted, scent was noticeable. That's a good thing. Then, before like literally 20 minutes later, the scent is extremely strong. I wrote, upon remelt, it could be smelled almost immediately. I wrote, at 7 a.m. on 2/19, left on all night. Scent has dissipated a lot. Turned off, and we'll see how it is after cooling. Then, obviously, after cooling, I said, can still smell when solid. So that was good. The fragrance was still in there, even after, like, it had been left on for probably close to, it looks about 10 hours. So that's good. Or 10 hours. Not 10 hours. 22 hours is what I meant. I was really off there. Anyhow. And then on the 3rd, I said burn. It's not a burn, it's a melt, Rachel. Jesus Christ. The scent was hardly there. So, she's out. 18% was my recent test. So 20 is currently in there. I just started 20. It's probably about half melted now. Maybe not. I can kind of smell it, but not a lot. So that's probably not half melted. But with 18%, the initial cold throw is better than 10. I did say for 20% that the initial cold throw was the strongest out of all of them. So I have high hopes for her. 18%, probably been in for about an hour, smells amazing. Second time, still amazing, had it on overnight. Scent, still noticeable, but not super strong. So, there is wax melts. I'm really hoping that 20 performs well, and it's one of those things that I sit here and I'm kind of like, am I trying to overperform these wax melts? Like, am I trying to make them do what they can't do, kind of thing? But I feel like wanting at least 3 days out of them is not bad. That's what at least most people claim, that you can get 3 days out of a cube. So I don't think that I'm kind of going crazy on this, but let's hope that 20 does well. And hopefully I don't have to test any more fragrance loads. Real quick, one thing to note, and why I won't just like skip ahead to 25%. If 20 is not to my liking, I will literally do a 21, a 22, a 23, 24, and a 25. Because when there is too much fragrance, there's too much fragrance oil in it, it can cause sweating, which is that you're going to see like little oil on top, or it can even cause the scent to be muted. Okay, now let's go over the candles. So she didn't work out that well. So I'm going to draw on this photo that you hopefully are seeing on screen. So this was about the second burn, I believe, and I had just lit it. So let's start talking about, I do want to make that thicker. Let's look at that flame. Don't mind my arrow, okay? She's beautiful. See how low it is and how it's split like this? There's this and there's this. That is not the greatest. It's not bad per se. It's just, it's not getting hot enough. And we see how there is almost this ledge that we see in there. This might be a little better of an area. So, with wooden wicks, that's not necessarily a bad thing, because normally with wooden wicks, it can correct itself by that second burn. Cotton wicks, not so much. The first burn is your most important burn. If you don't burn it all the way to the edges, it most likely is not going to ever again. So, but wooden wicks, that's not so much the case. So I was hopeful. But with how low this flame was, I was not too hopeful. And I ended up ordering new wicks right then and there. So let's go and look at the next photo I have. These are videos. This photo. Let's look at this real quick. Oh my lord. Okay. So, with this photo, the flame has now moved to just one side of the wick. The wick is almost like falling apart, as you can see. And look at how deep this ledge has went. We are not getting to the sides here. Like this, all of this extra wax, no. It almost looks like a smiley face. Like this is like its mouth. Hee. So, yeah, new wicks have to be bought because that's not good. But don't fear, I have already ordered them. They are here, and I have got these. I got a candle, okay? I poured it right before I came up here to film this. So, that is very good, very promising. So, no, I smell it smelling great. Anyhow, it is unfortunate that it was not like an immediate, like, oh, testing's great. Whatever. The part that's so crazy about candle making and things that people don't understand is like, so the wick that is in this vessel, they're the same vessels, okay? Just different colors. For the Spring Equinox collection, don't minus the soot because it is a little big for these candles, but it does work, is the same wick as this. Just different wax. That is crazy. Crazy. So it when people say candle making is easy, they're a liar. It's not easy whatsoever. But you get better at it every year that you go on and you're doing it. So we have ordered new wicks, as I've said. Candle is poured. I just need to wait for it to cool, heat gun it, and wait a couple of days. And we'll see how it goes. Hopefully, this 20% wax melt does great in my wax melter, and I feel very satisfied with it. And we get closer and closer to this collection coming out and like the rebrand becoming kind of finalized. I already decided that these vessels are not what I want, so I'm going to order different ones, but luckily once I have the wicks and the wax figured out together, that part does not really matter. It's just a matter of getting them and making the inventory. Next big hurdle besides all this is the price of it all, so we'll see when all this happens. But I'm excited, and even though testing is not done, it's okay. So I don't really know what the next episode is going to be right now, but if you are enjoying this, please give it a thumbs up. Let me know in the comments if you watched until the end of the episode. Give me any moon emoji, any of them, I don't care. And if you like this series, subscribe, join me in my journey, because thanks. I just had to get another job because I'm broke. Anyhow, I didn't say that, universe. I have millions of dollars, obviously. Duh. I'm done rambling. Much love.